What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from ADNA, your favorite blind film critic, and we're back. Movies with Pride. This is a first watch for me, though. A lot of the others I've just been revisiting. This is just a movie that happened to come out this year that I feel like fits the theme of movies with Pride. So it's a great time to throw this into June and talk about it. This is Love Lies Bleeding. The movie stars Kristen Stewart, Katie O'Brien, Ed Harris, Dave Franco, Jenna Malone, Anna Baryshnikov, and is written and directed by Rose Glass. So this is an A24 film that's garnered a little bit of attention coming out of the Sundance Film Festival. It was released shortly after. It has audio description done by Deluxe, narrated by Laura Post, and what the film is about is we open on a woman doing a really disgusting task. Just right away, Rose Glass she opens up her phone and she's like, "If you have a weak stomach, this film is not for you." So she just lets you know straight up. There's a woman, Lou, who runs a gym, and I don't want to say it's run down just because the bathroom is run, but it's, it's not Gold's Gym, so she's gonna have to do some heavy lifting to pull this thing together, so to speak. And her father is played by Ed Harris in the film, who is, summarize him as a sketchy individual. She has an encounter, a run-in with a bodybuilder that is passing through town, played by Katie O'Brien, who actually can bench you. Actually, it's not. This is a breakthrough performance for Katie O'Brien. They actually went out and got somebody who really looks like they can bench press instead of just I don't know, telling Zoe Saldana to go do some cardio. So Katie O'Brien comes in with all of her muscles, her rippling muscles, and ability to just handle herself and kick some ass. And there's some tension between Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien, and it's romantic tension. And there's also this giant crime thriller thing that happens around them. Their relationship becomes sort of entangled in, I don't know, blood simple. I don't know what else. It's a very dark. I don't like the fact that when I went to IMDb to look this up, the first genre was dark comedy, because I never laughed. This film was never like, "Ah, I see what they're doing there. Ah, that was funny." I was never like, "Oh, that's," I was always like, "Oh, this is intense. Oh shit, this is happening." It's very much like a crime thriller. It's a dark movie. It just is. It has some very dark themes that go through it, but at the core of it is two main characters are lesbians, and they really navigate that relationship. Actually, Kristen Stewart has another girlfriend played by Anna Baryshnikov, who is also a lesbian. It's her current / hookup girlfriend. They're not really dating, but she's trying really hard. Anna Baryshnikov is trying really hard to become, a full-time, reliable girlfriend, and actually takes stuff rather well. When Kristen Stewart starts hooking up with Katie O'Brien, she doesn't become a crazy person in the middle of it. It doesn't go that route, which would have been predictable, but I like the fact that Rose didn't go that way with that character. So instead we have something else that just things go horribly awry falls into that category. Things go horribly awry, and things continue to go horribly awry. And Kristen Stewart is looking more and more for a way out. And to some extent, so is Katie O'Brien's character, Jackie. So they're both kind of trying to keep their heads above water. And it's a very interesting film. This is the kind of film that A24 and Neon both pick up right now. This is exactly the kind of stuff that is their bread and butter, and why people literally go and watch their films, and why when they put A24 and Neon in front of something, it attracts a certain type of person who is there to see a film that they realize they may not like, but at least it won't be dull. You know what I'm saying? At least it will be challenging in some sort of cinematic regard. Even if you don't like the film, it's not going to be right off of some sort of regurgitation of the Friday Netflix drop, where it's just insert celebrity into plot that's been done hundreds of times before, make movie, done. There's a different quality about these films. You could say that A24 supports auteurs, and while Rose Glass doesn't necessarily have the resume to call her that, I don't feel comfortable calling somebody that with that small of a resume. I think that they have to do a couple films before. I think sometimes we jump in a little bit on some people. We're like, wow, they made 2 or 3 good films. They are one of the voices of our generation. And true. Okay, well, Robert Zemeckis made some good films too, but is he still the voice of our generation? Or what film did we cut him off on? Where did we decide Robert Zemeckis was no longer the voice of our generation? When did we change that, It's like Woody Allen has a couple strong films, especially early on in his career. And somewhere along the way, he started making films like Curse of the Jade Scorpion and Small Time Crooks. I don't know. Be careful with who you throw the word around with, because it's the body of work that's impressive. It's like how many times at bat can you really hit a home run? And it's really easy to say, wow, they did 3 films. They're amazing. It's much harder to say, wow, they did 20 films and they're all amazing. So I'm still waiting for people like Rose Glass and Ari Aster to just get more films under their belts. I think they're promising, certainly. There's a lot of promising direction here from Rose Glass. She makes bold choices. There's stuff in here that wouldn't make sense narratively, but she puts it in here just because the thriller is twisty, because it is that kind of a movie. There are things in here that work just because of how she's set up the film. And moments that feel sort of like she's making a different choice than perhaps other people would have made. So a lot of that is banked on strong performances, especially from Kristen Stewart, who I don't like. So if I'm saying Kristen Stewart's giving you a strong performance, you need to kick down the outer wall of your house and run and see the film immediately, because I don't like Kristen Stewart, and I've rarely ever said that about her. I've rarely ever been like, wow, Kristen Stewart was excellent in that. And I thought she was excellent in this. I hated her in Jackie. That's her Oscar-nominated performance. But I have occasionally been like, wow, she was really good in that. Clouds of Sils Maria, I thought she was really good in that. She's really good here. So I give credit where credit's due when it's earned. And she absolutely earns that. I think Katie O'Brien it's amazing that she doesn't have the kind of acting background that the rest of the cast has, because you wouldn't notice it. I didn't notice it. I didn't feel like, if anything, I felt like Anna Baryshnikov was more of the I don't belong here performance. The I'm standing among titans, because they're acting against Ed Harris, which is he's easily one of the greatest living actors right now that we have. His body of work is amazing, and he's really great here too. It's amazing how he just comes in and he just slides into a role that's rather simple, but he brings so much to it. It kind of reminded me a lot of William Hurt in A History of Violence. It definitely had that vibe to it. And Dave Franco here is fine. He's fine. I'm just glad to see Dave Franco working. I feel like a lot of people were unsure what to do with Dave because of James. And that was even like one of the things that James was trying to say when nobody was listening to him because nobody wanted to listen to him. But like the one thing that was valid was, you know, I'm the douche, not my brother. Please stop. You know, please stop treating my brother like he's an asshole. They are two separate people. So I think that's absolutely the right call there. So I think Dave Franco is an interesting actor, and I'm glad to see him continuing to work. So I felt like for a while there he was going through my brother's in trouble and people don't know what to do with me casting wise. So thank you, Rose Glass, for hiring Dave Franco. So I think in terms of awards potential, I think this is probably something that is limited to critics circles, Independent Spirit Awards, anything that has a breakthrough performance award for Katie O'Brien that she could be given an award for, I would say she has a shot at. In terms of breakthrough performers of the year, she definitely will be somebody who should get one or two of those recognitions. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Independent Spirit Awards nominated her for breakthrough performer of the year. So, because it's a meaty role. It's not just somebody who comes in and is there. It's a role. And she has to create this connection with Kristen Stewart, and it has to feel like it's this instant fire sort of thing, because it burns quickly, burns bright, and then shit happens. So, I'm not entirely sure this is the best representation for movies with pride, except for the fact that what is here, though, is our leads are lesbians, and that is the representation. But in terms of truly being able to celebrate their relationship, they do get caught up in this murder mystery a lot. And the Love Lies Bleeding, the romantic part of this is more of a cautionary tale than it is like a bliss. It's more like a watch what you step in type of thing. Watch your step, than it is necessarily like a let's go have a family and raise kids and go stare at pelicans on the beach. I don't know. It's just it's a dark film with very dark themes. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, because you know that the film is not like it's not a happy movie. This is not a film you watch if you're already depressed. This is not a film you turn on. This is a film you turn on when you have the ability to watch it, when you have the span and the ability to watch it. So, but I think it's an interesting film. It's not my favorite film of the year, but I don't think it's a really hard film to get. Like, you must really enjoy crime thrillers if you put if you wrap your head around this one. First of all, it does push boundaries. It is very much A24. So there are things in here that happen. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's like one thing that doesn't even make sense that happens, where it's like obviously what's going on inside of Katie O'Brien's head at the time. Definitely did not really happen, but just some of the stuff that was described by Laura Post was just kind of gnarly, and other times it's just kind of like regular sort of violence, the kind of stuff that we're used to seeing in this genre. Like, it doesn't pull punches. It's other directors have been here before, but Rose Glass is just putting her own stamp on this sort of subgenre of films, small town crime. But she's changing it up a little bit by, floating in the fact that the leads are lesbians. So And actually, because of Anna Baryshnikov, like half the cast is gay. So that's of the main cast anyway. So it's definitely deserves to be talked about during Pride Month. It just feels so weird because coming off of some other films that talk about sort of like gay culture and everything like that, this film is much more of a crime film where the characters just happen to be. It doesn't need the characters to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have... There's an easy way to swap things around and make this work. And I love the choices that Rose Glass made because that's what makes it stand out and why it's available to be in Movies with Pride and why it's not just a derivative crime thriller. But, and also the fact that A24 would even be interested in it, you know? Instead of like Bleecker Street. Roadside attractions. So, yeah, it's a film. It certainly is a film, and everybody's gonna have a different opinion about it because it's a pretty wild trip. I'm trying to really avoid spoilers, so I don't think I've spoiled anything for you here. So, this is definitely a film that you don't want to have spoiled for you. So I'm treading water here. The audio description by Laura Post was solid. I don't necessarily know. I don't know if this is my favorite track of the year, but I think it was enough. There are some times where, again, something crazy happens and the description comes in with the best descriptions, but I feel like there's more. I feel like Rose Glass is somebody who was going for a visual style here, who was going for a look of the film, and probably a really dark and nasty look, if I had to guess. I'm guessing this film has a very specific look to it, and I didn't really pick up any of that, and that's kind of maybe where the audio description... It's sometimes often where audio description leaves me when we start talking about auteurs, is they start making strong visual choices that don't always make it into audio description. Sometimes they do. Zone of Interest absolutely mentioned some really interesting choices that were made visually that were not necessarily tied to the story, but we got to hear what they would look like on screen. So here, I just feel like I was missing that. So I don't fully grasp what Rose Glass has to bring to the table while people are talking about her as an auteur. So that's it. That's Love Lies Bleeding. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm going to give Love Lies Bleeding a B+. I thought it was pretty good. It's mostly led by great performances. And yeah, it's just a hard film. It's not a film I want to see again. You know, I'm just going to be really honest and say I don't really want to see this movie again. And, has really nothing to do with anything other than the fact that it's just a dark film. And it just did not, you know, when Marie Kondo talks about does this spark joy? No. No, this does not. At all. It didn't spark any joy for me. But I would love to see Katie O'Brien again. I hope they find ways of putting her in things so that she can continue to work, because I thought she was really pretty good. Considering she does not have the resume that her on-screen counterparts do. So, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the other side.